Hey, up next from the MARR Army Rock Show. I've been looking forward to getting a chance to talk one-on-one with Reggie for a long time. He's a guitarist of Heaven's Edge, and we've had Mark on the show a few times, but we finally get Reggie on. Reggie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm psyched. How's it going?
It's going great, man, and I know it's going great for Heaven's Edge, so I'm going to talk about that resurgence and all in a minute. But first, we just came off the M3 Festival, and it was your second time there. Reflect back on that experience a little bit.
We had such a great time, and Eric does such a great job with that. It's incredible with that rotating stage, and they just, the one band's getting ready, and we're behind there setting up, and they just spin you, and you go. it was a lot of fun. No time to get nervous.
Now, talk about the festival itself. Was the experience different this year? Last year, you were on that side stage real early in the day. Was the experience a little different this year, or how was it?
I think, both experiences were great. The side stage was awesome because, it was big. It was really big, and we were the first band on, literally the first band on. So there we got a little bit of a sound check. Here was no sound check. You just kind of, our sound man is just, I guess Faster Pussycat, who was on before us, is playing. So wherever they left the board is where we pick up. And of course all the levels are can be a little different, and I guess it takes a little time for the sound to get together. Whereas on the other stage, we were the first band on, so we got a sound check, and you got to see what it was kind of going to sound like. But either way, it works out great.
Now, hey, I also had the pleasure of sailing aboard the Rock and Roll Cruise on Monsters of Rock Cruise with you, and I also wanted to hear you talk a little bit about what it was like being trapped on a boat with all of us crazy people for 4 days.
It was awesome. I mean, when I first heard about it, I was just like, oh my God, I don't know how this is going to work. I mean, but it was probably one of the best experiences as a band that we ever had. It was the friends and fans were awesome, and being on the boat with all these other people that we idolized. I'd be like, oh my God, there's the guy from Night Ranger, and he eats like a regular person. It was funny. I got to meet Nuno. Who's like my guitar. Like I just worship the guy, and I couldn't even talk. I was just like, your songs are great. That's what I said to him. I'm like, really? I said your songs are great. Oh my God.
So, just a couple weeks ago, there was an article in one of the Philadelphia newspapers about, the resurgence of that late 80s, early 90s metal stuff, and you guys specifically, and Brittany Fox and Cinderella were all mentioned. Tell me how that resurgence got started. What was the catalyst for that? Well,
I'd say for the last, maybe the last 6 years, people from Rocklahoma, I don't even know if that's still going on, were calling for us to, come play these festivals, but we never did. And finally Kieran from Firefest was just like, you got to come over here. You got to come over and play. And we're like, go all the way to London to play? And we finally went. My wife had just beaten breast cancer, and I was just like, you know what? You only live once. Let's just go. And so we went to London and played at Firefest and had the best time. I mean, they knew every word to every song. We're like, holy cow, this is incredible. And we had such a great time that we said, let's do it twice a year. And we did one local show, so back here, which was just awesome. It was like a high school reunion. And since then, we just said we'll do 2 shows a year, and two or three shows a year, and just go out and have a lot of fun with it. And got to play with the Brittany Fox boys, and got to do the meet and greet on the cruise with Tom Kiefer over at Cinderella. It was just like old times, back in the late 80s. We all used to do this together. And the room that we did the meet and greet on the ship was called the Galaxy, and that was our room that we all played here in South Jersey. It was very ironic that was it. So, I can't believe the resurgence, to tell you the truth. And we're just having fun with it.
Now, of all those bands that you mentioned, you're one of the few, and just not just from Philadelphia, but globally, that is from that era that kind of, I think I'm right with this, you still have the same original members, don't you?
Yes, yeah, we're all 5 members, which is awesome. I'm really happy that it's the 5 of us, and really proud that it's the 5 of us. Even when things were bad, me and Mark are are like best friends. So, we never stopped communicating. And Dave, our drummer, actually married my wife's sister, even though they're divorced now. But so we kept in touch with him, and just we were all like brothers. We went up together, we went down together. We had the best and worst times all together, and which really makes us like brothers. So I'm happy it's the five of us doing this.
Now, I had a moment on that cruise when we were waiting for one of the shows, and I heard somebody off in the corner doing this beautiful piano playing music, and we turned around and it was you. And a lot of people watch you playing guitar. Talk about your piano skills a little bit.
Well, my mom's a classical pianist, and to grow up a woo, it's the law. You start at age 3 or 4, and she hammered me classical-wise, and I hated it. But I'm so happy she hammered us. And I guess I moved out of my parents' house when I was 16, and I did not get a piano again until I was 34. But those were the years I really played guitar. But once I got a piano, I am addicted. Just with classical composers like Chopin and Bach and even Beethoven, it just blows me away that came out of their mind. It's just them and a piano. And so, I'm down there every day. I haven't missed a day, since I was 34. It's just I'm down there every day. It drives my family crazy playing the same songs. Because I could pick up one song, and, one song could be 25 pages long, and, that I could do that for a year straight, just to try to get it down. And I just have fun with it at this point.
Now, do those classical, runs of piano stuff translate into any guitar solos or stuff? Is there a connection between the two?
Actually, I'd say no. Classical music is very regimented. I think jazz is definitely more improv, and for classical, you're just playing the notes on the paper. And I teach piano right now and guitar, but with my piano students, I try to convey this is the scale that they're using, and this is why it sounds like that. Personally, growing up, we never got any of that. It was just you just play the notes on the paper. But coming from a classical background, obviously, I gravitated towards Randy Rhoads and Yngwie, and they totally have grabbed the classical in this. I'd say the most classical that we got would be something. We have a song called Rocksteady, maybe in the middle there, a little bit of diminished stuff. But for the most part, we're not very classically influenced. Although, learning all that has definitely helped and has helped mold, what we are today. But I don't know if it's a direct influence.
Now, okay, so you mentioned the song Rocksteady, and I'm sure you've been asked this about 80 million times, but I've never asked you. So you guys still, one of the things I think it's way, way cool, you still have the choreography there on stage that you guys have the choreographed moves. When did that start, and whose idea was it?
Well, coming out of Philly, there was a band called the Dead End Kids, and they were our motley crew. They were our gods, and they did all that choreography, spinning the guitars, the kicks. They were just, all of us just worshiped them. And so once we put the band together, we were like, that's who we want to be like. We want to be like the Dead End Kids. And so it all started there with Cinderella, spinning the guitars. All of us got it from the Dead End Kids. There was the two guitar players, Kelly James and George Rumble. They're like icons in this area. But all those kicks, the high kicks and spinning and all the choreography was started from them. I thought that's how you had to play, because that's all we were brought up on. So
it's still a cool thing, and it makes you guys stand out now. It shows, and I guess as people are getting a little older, some of the bands getting a little harder to do some of that.
Yeah, oh my God. The day after shows, it's like you can't even move. But I don't know, when we first came back, we're like, should we do the moves? Are people going to think that it's totally dated? And we're like, you know what, let's just go do it and have fun. And who cares? And it turns out that people like it, for us to do the moves. And so I'm enjoying it. And it's almost at the point now where I can't play the song without doing the moves. It's like part of the song. It just comes naturally, so it's funny.
Hey, I've been pressuring Mark for this for a while. Can we expect any Heaven's Edge new music anytime soon?
We've been writing, and me and Mark have been writing, and we definitely have a whole bunch of ideas. It's just our lives are just so insane, as you can tell, just to try to get them going. But we finished up a couple of them, which I'm really excited about. We did one at the last TLA show last November, and it's funny. It's like you do it, and you just see the people's reaction, like, oh, they just want to hear the old stuff, But for me, it's all about doing some new songs. I would definitely love to do some new stuff. So we are definitely writing. So where that goes, we'll see. And even just from a touring, if we do an album, whoever's putting the record out is going to expect the band to tour and to support it. And I guess that's where we would run into some problems, as far as, Dave's like the vice president of Roadrunner Records. I can't see him going on tour,
Yeah, the good thing is, there is this niche now with the cruises and the festivals that you can pick and choose some pretty big audiences without having to do those club tours anymore, at least it seems like in your genre.
Right, yeah. It's unbelievable that the response. I mean, the love at M3, just recently, I was just like, wow. Everybody still loves this music. It's awesome. Which it should. It was a fun part of all of our lives, and I'm happy that, people still enjoy it. Because it really was a fun time back then.
Hey, so one more thing before I let you go. Do you have another show on the docket here? I mean, you kind of glanced over saying we play those local shows. If people got to understand, those are sold-out shows at the TLA in Philadelphia, which is no just regular local show. Do you guys have any other shows booked on the horizon?
No, the only thing we have is the Monsters of Rock next February. We're talking about maybe doing something over in I don't know what it's called, maybe Rock and Skull or something in Chicago.
Oh yeah, Rock and Skull, yeah. I think that's like in Iowa or something like that.
Yeah, or something. Mark, we're talking to them, and no local shows as of now. We probably do the local shows like once every 2 years to keep it exciting. I think if we started to play a lot, it would take away a little bit of the excitement. So maybe, next year, 2017, we'll do our next local show here in Philly. And
I would love
to do it with like Cinderella and Britney Fox. That would just be awesome.
Oh man, that you could definitely Philly Fest, man, or Philly Rock Fest or something, man.
That would be incredible. I would love to see Cinderella just get back together, But I guess Tom's doing so well on his own. But I don't know what the situation. But that would be great to get them guys. And there were a couple other local bands that were really great, like Tangier. I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah.
And Ivory Tower. There's a lot of great talent here in Philly, and just to get them all back together again would be awesome.
Well, Reggie, man, you've been a big part of that town and Philly scene for a long time, and Reggie Woo is the amazing guitarist for the band Heaven's Edge, and if you've never seen Reggie perform live, you're missing a real treat. I told everybody on that boat, man, go watch the guitar player for this band. You're going to love what you see, so I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Oh, you are the greatest. Thank you for all that you do, and definitely love you. You're awesome.